My name is Wes Ahana Pearson, recording for Black Asian Magazine. I'm talking to a gentleman right now who resides in the area around Bangkok. So first, for the site, could you tell us your name?
All right, my name is Rafael Pena, and my organization is called Levels Management. I reside in Bangkok, in a little province or a little district called Lat Krabang near the airport.
Okay. And just to take a step back a bit, can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up? Where are you from, actually? And also, how long have you been living in Bangkok?
All right, so I'm originally from the Bronx in New York City.
Okay.
I grew up in Washington Heights, also in New York City. Right now, I've been living in Bangkok for about 2 months, going on 3.
Okay. Now, what made you decide in the first place? Because as you know, most Americans actually do not leave the United States. I guess most Americans feel like the country is big enough, there's enough to see, and a lot of people really never leave their comfort zone. What made you decide to leave the States in the first place?
Since I've been, well, back in New York City,
Hmm.
I always felt that there was more to see and more to live out than just New York City, and
Wow.
especially being part of a city that's a melting pot where you meet people from different places and whatnot. I always wondered what it was like to have an experience of living in another country. When I finally came across my partner or my girlfriend at the time,
Hmm.
uh, she also had similar aspirations, and it basically just, I guess, not escalated, but together we kind of really made that dream happen as far as, making a plan and sticking to it and moving to Thailand eventually.
Okay. All right. Turning back to a little bit more about your background, you said that you actually grew up in Washington Heights. Can you give us a very brief picture of what that was like growing up there?
So Washington Heights is a predominantly Dominican neighborhood. My family is born and raised from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
I'm second generation Dominican.
Okay.
The whole neighborhood is made up of this wonderful Latin culture that I grew up with.
Hmm.
And, it was the 90s basically when I grew up. So hip hop was brewing. In my house, we played everything from Billy Joel all the way to Michael Jackson, salsa, merengue, whatever you could think of. My house was also a melting pot of music and entertainment and whatnot. Growing up there, I had both my parents at one time. Then and it was just me and my father for most of my teenage years.
Hmm.
During my teenage years was when I got into the entertainment business through
Okay.
marketing and promotion and whatnot. I was doing work for labels, but before we get into all of that, growing
Right.
up in New York and Washington Heights, it was just, it was a very vibrant culture, a very vibrant time. And being from New York City, it was, millions of people getting on a train, making it on your own, learning how to make it. And everyone was just kind of on that same wavelength in our neighborhood. It's like, yeah, we went to school, but what else is there?
Right.
And I think that kind of hustler mentality is what, it started in Washington Heights
Mhm.
for someone like me.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. So you're from Washington Heights. Right now, you live right outside of Bangkok. To what other places have you traveled in your lifetime?
In my lifetime, I've been to some of the normal places people would love to visit, like, you know, London, Paris, Switzerland. I
Hmm.
did most of these things while I was touring as an independent artist as well. Dominican Republic, of course, I've been there. Different parts of, different parts of America as well, and Canada.
Right. Okay.
So, seen a few places that, of course, I would love to experience living in. But first and foremost, I felt like, or we felt together, that Thailand was one of the best places for us to get started into this kind of lifestyle.
Okay, so may I ask, like, why was it Thailand? What was unique that you thought about Thailand?
Well, for one, economics wise,
Hmm.
it's definitely like you get more for your dollar out here.
Right. Okay.
Um, when you're trying to, even back home, back in the States, where you're trying to pursue your dreams or career goals or certain projects that you're working on, personal projects, the first thing you could think of that you need is your finances. And here,
Right.
your finances can go a long way. And it can help you develop a platform where you could, you know, focus a lot of finances into the projects that you want to do. And at the same time, still have a quality of life of living, where, you can have a condo, you can have a car, you can eat whatever you want every day. And it's not taken away from the lifestyle that you need.
Okay.
As opposed to back home, it'd be difficult for you to get your necessities if you're working on a project that's going to cost you, between five or $10,000. Just anybody that's on that paycheck life from paycheck to paycheck, if they wanted to branch out and live their dreams, it'd be a little bit harder in America. But in a place like Thailand, it kind of works well if you know how to manage your money the right way.
Okay. All right. So that leads me into my next question, which you pretty much answered. But to piggyback on that, what else have you noticed as far as differences, or is it pretty much the same? If you had to compare and contrast living in New York to living in Bangkok, what would you say are the differences or similarities?
Well, the similarities between New York and Bangkok is like Bangkok, the city itself, it's pretty congested as far as commuting every day. And, there's barely any sidewalks, honestly. Like
Yeah.
everyone is pretty much on top of each other. And then if, not just the people on top of each other, but the transportation is on top of each other. You have so many options here to get around, whether it's a Grab, whether it's a Sungtao or a Tuk Tuk, or just taking, the metro, the metro daily. So
Right.
that's kind of similar in a way where back home, you take the subway, you take public transportation, and, you walk to different places. So New York City was really good for that. And the transitioning into the Bangkok lifestyle, it kind of helped that it was a little similar because it helped me move around. And then, you just throw on the Google Maps and you can go from place to place like any other city in America.
Okay. So can you tell me right now, let's go into what you do there. What kind of work do you do there since you've been there? And you try to go into as much detail as possible about what kind of work you're doing in Bangkok.
Well, when we first decided to move to Bangkok, a lot of the options that expats have is pretty much either teaching or they have to find work within an American company and get transferred to
Right.
a position in Thailand. I didn't do neither or nor, kind of I made some contacts before I left
Mhm.
America.
Yeah.
And I explained to people about what my company does, my consulting company that's based in New York called Levels Management.
Right.
And Levels Management is a management and consulting firm. And what we do is we help people that are pursuing careers within entertainment, within journalism, or they're just trying to open up a new business, or they already have a business that they're trying to bring into the 2019 age or the 21st century. And a lot of my business back home, back in New York, was grand openings, was events for artists like release parties or mixtape events and whatnot, when brands wanted to introduce themselves to a cool market or a demographic that has a lot of buying power. I have a database that has that kind of demographic.
Mhm.
So, when I was building Levels Management, I was transitioning from being an artist and use all my connections to develop this type of firm. And within that, we've been able to work with reality stars, with new companies, established companies, and, record labels such as Atlantic and 300, and even new record labels, like the mom and pops, the guys that are starting in their garage, or,
Mm-hmm.
those guys those artists that are just dreaming and they happen to have a budget and they need help getting to the next step. That's what my company did back home. So I kind of explained that to people, and I threw some feelers out once I found out my timeline for when I was moving to Bangkok. Through those feelers and sending out emails and using my Facebook and whatnot, I was able to acquire clients. With those clients, I now have an artist, and I'm about to wrap up signing a producer
Mm-hmm.
that does all kind of beats and whatnot. HRK Beats, that's his name, and the artist that
Okay.
I'm dealing with right now is from Liberia. Her name is Denise. So they're both pretty much starting from square one, and I'm gonna help them propel their careers to, somebody that you would see on a double XL every day, or the source every day, different websites, even Black Asian Magazine
Right.
eventually.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
Appreciate it.
my job is to help develop them in the field that they're in. Denise
Mm-hmm.
is an artist. She wants to deal more within the hip hop realm, within the
Right.
genre of hip hop, and she's doing really well as far as her progress. I've been with her for a month now. My new client, which is a producer, he's been producing music for maybe the last 10 years, and
Okay.
he's pretty good within the hip hop realm as well. But he's making beats within each genre of hip hop, which would be your trap music, your East Coast music, that 90s feel, that weekend vibe that people are into, or Khalil's, kind of that 40 stuff that Drake does. So
Mm-hmm.
he has a variety of beats that he brings to the table, and I'm helping him pretty much sharpen that up and harness it in a way where it looks good enough that people want to go in and buy and check it out. Because, if the packaging is right, then you'll be able to attract a lot of people virally. And also with what I do with levels management, I'm able to send out feelers to my database of about 10,000 people, or, that's industry professionals, or people that are just, artists themselves, and they've always been interested in the services that I provide. So I'm able to use that database to send this information out and potentially bring exposure to both of my clients out
Okay.
here in Thailand.
All right. So can I ask, how old is Levels Management?
That's a good question. I would say Levels Management was born in 2013, but
Okay.
we really didn't start, kind of branding ourselves and branding the projects that we were part of till about 2015. In 2015, I started something called the EIM, which
Mm-hmm.
got real popular in New York City. The EIM is the Entertainment Industry Mixer,
Okay.
where there I took A&Rs and journalists and different people within the music and entertainment industry, and not really a panel discussion, but kind of like an open format networking type of event where artists and, people who wanted to open businesses, or people who were aspiring journalists, they would all come to this mixer and meet with these professionals. It was a great experience, and I was doing it on a monthly basis. Then eventually the event got so big that I kind of wanted to harness it in a bigger locations, better locations, and create a better experience where it was a full day, and then people had panel discussions, and, people had marketing materials to take home. So eventually I was able to evolve that, and include sponsors, and include artists, and include, actual people that did artwork. So it became experiences as the years went by. So we went from a monthly event, and then we turned it into 4 times a year, and then eventually before I left it became twice a year, with about maybe 1 to 2,000 attendees and about 10 to 20 professionals booked at each one. And there's footage of these events on our website, levelsmanagement.com. You'll be able to check out under the link visuals, you'll be able to check out the last few entertainment industry mixers that we did.
Right. That's what I wanted to ask you next. Like, as far as online, where could I? So I guess in the comments below, and also to the blog site, you'll be able to give me a link to all these, and also your new artists.
Yeah, definitely. The artists we're developing their marketing materials and whatnot. So there'll be a couple photo shoots going on within the next month, and as soon as we have more of their presence, I'll send that over to you as well.
Right.
I just
certainly
want their introduction to the world to be as polished as it can be, because first impressions are everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other part to that is feel free to visit levelsmanagement.com.
Okay.
Everything that we discussed on here or in this interview is on that website.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see things like the entertainment industry mixer, our event services, our consulting services, Career Bites as well, which is one of our consulting, one of our consulting projects under Levels Management, that where you get to speak to a professional, or you get to speak to myself, or you speak to Shirea L, who used to work at Viacom, creative directing, producing,
Right. Okay.
writing on the show as well. If anyone out there is aspiring to be a journalist or is looking to be an artist and just needs help figuring out a path to where they want to be, this is where Career Bites is definitely something you can use to help you. Sure, it's just so much to put into this little interview right now, but
yeah,
it's
but
like,
for the future, the links will be up there, and people will be able to look at it at their leisure and get the resources that they need from it.
Yeah, definitely. All the links will be somewhere down here, and Wes will definitely take care of that for you guys.
All right. Okay, so moving on a little bit, you've been in Bangkok not very long, but how do you feel living there as a Black man, also as a Black person who's in the entertainment industry? What has been your experience so far?
Okay, so, culture-wise, or being Black or brown out here in Thailand, it's a very small community.
Okay.
So that's one of the major differences, from New York City. If you come here, just know that there's like 200 of us living here, and we all try to know each other, and we all kind of support each other as far as how to get started, how to find work, how to get our health care. There's a community of that. Shout out to Ebony Expats. I'll give her a plug. But this young lady, Tori, she does a lot of work here out in Thailand, and that's someone that you should look up to if you're someone of Black or brown, and you're ready to make this move, or anywhere in Asia. It was a big help in realizing that there is a support group here, and you won't be when you get here. So that's great. As far as the entertainment thing, I kind of just grabbed the bull by the horns and just let people know that I was here and this is what I can do. And as soon as I meet someone that I feel could use a bit of assistance or use a touch of Levels Management, I tell them what I do. And I think that's very important for anybody out there. Just let people know, what it is that you do or what it is that you want to do, and you'd be surprised how many people would help you along the way. So, when it came to picking up clients, I put my fillers out. I let people know what I do. I have a great resume as far as my website is concerned. So all those things, if you check all of that off before you get here, or when you get here, when you make time for it, I think you'll see that you'll be able to function and able to exist the right way here. And it won't be long before you can build your foundation out here in Thailand, in Southeast Asia, or anywhere in Asia, or anywhere around the world. You just gotta got to prepare really well, and, make that leap. Just don't be scared, you know?
Yes, I understand. You're 100% correct. All right. From networking on different internet sites, or even from walking around since you've been there in Thailand, what are some of the other jobs or industries that you've seen other Black and brown people going into since you've been there?
I've seen business owners, I've seen chefs, of course, teaching. Teaching's a big business here for anybody, Black, brown, white, Asian, anyone from America. If you're an
Expat.
English, yeah, anybody that's expat. If you're an English speaker, there's work every day here for someone that wants to teach. What happens is you have a lot of Thai people or Chinese people that want their children to learn English, and
Mhm.
they'll either hire tutors or they send their kids to the best schools. And these schools will hire people that speak English or have gone through a TOEFL course or what have you. And even if you haven't gone through any of the courses, if you come out here and just do your research, you will be able to find work,
Okay.
and get your feet planted on the ground.
Okay. Pretty much on a final note, thank you for sharing all that information with me. And I can tell you're pretty knowledgeable about your background and what's going on there in Thailand. Talking about the future, moving forward, where do you see yourself over the next few years? Is it like you're pretty much settled on Bangkok, on Thailand? What projects do you have coming up for the future, and where are you going next after this?
As much as I'm enjoying, working here and getting things together, I still have Thailand on a trial basis, basically. So
Okay.
we're both trying to figure out if this is where we're going to stay, or if Bangkok is the right city. And I feel like anyone that makes a move like that, you should be judging it on how this city makes you feel and if it's the right place for you. So 5 or 6 years from now, I'm not saying that this is our last stop right now, but we're still going to be looking at other options, looking at different countries, and who knows, maybe 5 or 6 years, we'll be right back in America. So as far
Okay.
as that is concerned, it's just not sure yet, and I'm excited at the fact that we're not sure. If
Okay.
you kind of understand that, as far as business is concerned for levels management, we hope within the next 2 or 3 months, I'd like to have our first event set up here in Bangkok, give
Mhm.
Bangkok a little bit of that, New York flavor as far as what we used to do back home with our events, and
Okay.
get something going, not just for the Black community, but I also want to incorporate all the communities that are here in Bangkok, the Thais, the Chinese, the Malaysians, people from India, the Pakistanis, create something where everyone can network no matter what business it is. It doesn't have to just be entertainment. It could also be business. There's a big tech industry here as well if you're into developing apps and whatnot. And there's a lot of artists as far as you know, painters and illustrators and digital art. So, I kind of want to create something that's a hub for that. Definitely prioritizing the Black and brown, but
Mhm.
also open to everyone else that
Right.
wants to attend, and wants to learn. So I think we all have information that we can share with each other. And that's something that I would like levels management to be the pillar of, at least sometime within the next 3 months. I want to have our first event going on.
Okay. All right. So 2 to 3 months from now, let me know, and I'll definitely provide coverage of that event.
All right, awesome.
All right. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up? Before we say goodbye?
I just want to say special thanks to Black Asian Magazine for letting me tell my story and talk about levels management, talk about my experiences here in Thailand. Black Asian Magazine is an incredible outlet
Right.
that is gonna feature more people like myself and people who want to you know get away from America for a little bit, and maybe just hit a refresh button on their life and I'm here, and there's a lot of us here that are going to be that olive branch for anyone out there that is seeking this type of move. So be on the lookout for Black Asian Magazine and Levels Management. And thank you. Shout out to Wes.
All right, man. All right.
Take
Black
care.
Asian Magazine. Peace.